What's up, everybody? Oh, car's a little bit cold. Anyway, I'm heading out to take a look at some of these peaks where I'm at. I drove in last night to the town of Höfn, and I'm staying just outside of it in these fantastic little guest houses, and each one is kind of like its own little tiny house of sorts. There's no one above you, there's no one around you. It's your own little cabin, so to speak, and it is literally out here in the middle of nowhere. I mean, there is just nothing out here. I mean, besides the road and plenty of mountains. So right now I'm driving to Höfn, and more specifically, I'm driving to a peak known as Vestrahorn. It's a mountain range that cascades right down to the edge of the ocean. It's really quite incredible. I've only seen photos of it, never seen it in person, so I'm really not entirely sure how to get there or how to get around it, but from what I've seen, it looks like a really incredible area. So I'm gonna go scout it out. I'm gonna go walk around for a little bit, and let's see what we can find. Man. Damn. Hell yeah. Ah, amazing. Yeah, so that interesting experience. It turns out that these that this peak known as Vestrahorn, or is it Vestrahorn, or I should really ask and find out. The land that is directly in front of it, where there's this fantastic black sand beach, is private land, or at least the road coming out here is private. And in order to get here, you have to buy one of these. There's a charming little place called the Viking Cafe, which is right before you get to the peaks, and you just go in there and they serve coffee and all kinds of little various things, and they also sell tickets, which you put this in a machine, and the gate opens and you're allowed to drive down to the coast. Oh my god. And it's just incredible. I can't wait to get out and walk around. All right, so it's time to do a little bit of scouting. As you can see, here is Vestrahorn behind me. That's the thumbnail right there. Yeah, so it's quite incredible. The light isn't particularly great right now. There's a lot of as you can see, there's a lot of clouds up here hanging directly over the peaks, and just not as good as it could be. So I kind of have a feeling that there's not much point in breaking out my DSLR and carrying all that heavy stuff around right now, where instead my time would probably be better spent just kind of walking the area a bit and getting a sense of it, and perhaps finding a composition that I can remember and come back and shoot tomorrow. So all around me, you'll see there's just all these incredible mounds of black sand that just ebb and flow and are just incredible. And there's little tufts of grass that are kind of growing on top of some of these, and I've never seen anything quite like this. It really is incredible. So I'm gonna walk down inside of one of these. So yeah, so now you can see just how deep these things get. Really incredible. I'm kind of hoping to find a composition for tomorrow. And what I'm really hoping to do is, as incredible as these peaks are, these mounds of black sand are almost, to me, just as impressive, if not even more. There's just nothing quite like this. And so I think what'll be a better composition, instead of just walking down to the beach and doing a wide angle of the Vestrahorn, would be rather to kind of get back here in the dunes somewhere and either shoot through the dunes or kind of maybe find a slightly higher vantage point and include these dunes in the foreground, because there's nothing quite like Iceland, that is for sure. So I think I'm going to just crisscross and walk around down inside these dunes and see what I can find. It's interesting looking at this sand down here where, because it is so flat, that this kind of references my point earlier about these dunes back this way, is that I think it's really obvious in some ways to just focus on these peaks and to just be thinking about them as the subject of the image, which, it is. It's quite a hero shot for sure. But this is one of those instances where, in order to get these peaks, you have to get a little bit of foreground in your shot. And down here, it's just not particularly interesting. It's quite flat. There's not a lot to look at. It could make for an interesting, kind of almost like an abstract composition, especially if you got a telephoto and maybe focused on the horizon line, almost like a Rothko painting or something, where you have these like these two kind of halves of an image, and you use the geometry and the color to kind of create a different type of look, which might be interesting. I might try that later, but just in general, it doesn't seem to be the best image from here. So I don't think I'm going to be shooting down here, because there's just not a lot going on. I think the real shot is back that way. Back where all those dunes are, where I was at before. So, crossing fingers. Oh man, well, I am covered in black dust, and I know that my camera's, my poor camera is as well, and pretty much everything else. Fortunately, I do have one of those little rocket blowers back at my charming little guest house by the sea. So it looks like tonight is going to be a night of cleaning and and trying to get some of this dirt out of everything. I can tell I have dirt in the tripod too, because the not exactly closing very well either. So at any rate, that's going to do it for today. I bid you goodbye, and please come back if you haven't already. If you want to be notified when I post another video, be kept in the loop, all that good stuff, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button below, and we'll be in touch. So, until next time.